I'm Mind, and welcome to what is hopefully a start to an all-new series on this channel. Now, after the Woo Crew podcast ended earlier this year, I've been trying to figure out the direction to take my channel. Because the channel has grown a lot recently, and I've been switching my content around. You've noticed there's been more highly edited videos, more mock videos, and less of those just like random reviews of older sets. But I've still felt like something was missing, so I had a new idea for this video series. And this is hopefully to fill that Woo Crew podcast-shaped hole in your heart at least a little bit. Now, the idea behind this series is just me talking to you guys about whatever. A portion of it's going to be a Q&A. I made a community tab post, asked you guys for questions, things you'd like to hear me discuss. Another portion of it's just going to be mini reviews of sets I've gotten recently. Because I have noticed on the channel, of course, sets that are a little bit older, doing full reviews of them doesn't perform too well. And it's also very time-consuming for me, so why would I go through all this effort to make a review of a set that everybody's already seen reviewed by other people and doesn't really want to watch my reviews? So I think for the full-length reviews, I'm going to stick to mostly Ninjago sets and brand new sets. I'll do non-Ninjago stuff if it's brand new, and I'll do Ninjago stuff both new and old. But unless I really want to go in depth about an older set, I'm probably going to hold off on doing as many full reviews. Instead, I'll go over them quickly in videos like this one, so that way people who care about my thoughts can still hear my thoughts in said sets, while also not just completely destroying me in the YouTube algorithm. Additionally, I missed the conversational aspect of the Woo Crew podcast. I like talking to you guys, I like taking your questions. And while I do that a little bit in Ninjago Meme Review, I feel like this will be a more consistent series for me to do than Ninjago Meme Review is. And then the last thing I want to talk about here, another thing from the Woo Crew podcast, is LEGO news. Now, I do make news videos on Ninjago, Minecraft, Monkey Kid, and any other theme that especially excites me, but I don't make news videos on every single LEGO theme anymore. So if there's major LEGO news within the month, I'll talk about it in videos like this one. Now, the one thing is, I don't have a name for this series yet. I was thinking Bricks by Mind Monthly, but that doesn't seem like it. It's not a good clickbait title. So if any of you guys have any suggestions as to what this series should be called, let me know in the comments. And if I like your suggestion, maybe that's what I'll use from now on. And of course, I'll give you credit for it in the next episode. But yeah, I'm thinking this will be a monthly series. I try to do it at least once a month, and we'll be starting with the very first one today. So with all that explanation out of the way, let's get into this video. So we'll start with a little bit of a Q&A. This question comes in from Master Vamber. If Ninjago ever 100% ended, no more media, would you continue making videos about it? That's a very interesting question. It's something I have thought about a lot. I think what I would probably do is I would still make videos about it, but not as frequently. If I have cool mock ideas or whatnot, like with my Crystal King Temple video, I would still do those things even if Ninjago was not currently airing. But I wouldn't want to beat a dead horse. I wouldn't want to keep milking it. I'm not trying to become a Bionicle YouTuber saying, is Bionicle coming back this year? So I think I would transition to more general LEGO content, maybe find a new theme to be my main theme. I mean, kind of like what I do now when there isn't big Ninjago news. That would just become the main focus of my channel. But I still think I would make some Ninjago content when I have a good idea. Like throwback Ninjago reviews, videos about Ninjago's history, or custom builds and whatnot. But I wouldn't try to force Ninjago content if I didn't feel like there was content to be made, if that makes any sense. Here's one from Pat the Lad. What was the best year for Ninjago? I personally think 2018 was the best as it gave us 2 great seasons and kind of redeemed the show after season 7. So I have 2 answers for this. I think the 2 best years for Ninjago are 2016 and 2018. 2018 is the peak of the show, and 2016 I believe is the peak of the sets. 2016 was so perfect when it came to the sets, because that's the year we had Skybound and Day of the Departed. Now, the first Skybound wave was good, but it was nothing all too special. I did really like the villains that wave, they were very unique, and of course, I really enjoyed the Skybound show, but that second wave that year really was the peak of the Ninjago toys. For one, we got a second Skybound wave as a part of the Day of the Departed wave. That's something that we haven't gotten since, but that was so cool because it allowed us to get spoiler sets. We got things like the Lighthouse Siege, which we normally would not have gotten, but because the show had already aired by the time those sets came out, they were able to make that set. We got Echo Zane in the set, which wouldn't have worked in the first wave. So that was something really cool that I wish we could see again. I would love to get something like that for Ninjago Crystallized next year, maybe. I don't think it's going to happen, but it would be perfect. And then the Day of the Departed sets were just awesome. I'm not a huge fan of the special itself, but the sets were so cool to see all those villains come back, get them in sets again. And the sets themselves were pretty good. Samurai X Cave was a super exciting one, Ultra Stealth Raider was amazing, and the smaller ones were nothing too exceptional, but they were still really fun. So I think in terms of toys, just all that together, that was the best year for the toy. And then for the show, SOG and Hunted were obviously the best Ninjago seasons we've ever gotten. Seabound is up there in my opinion, but the island half of Seabound is not nearly as strong as the Seabound half of Seabound, so I would not put 2021 as high when it comes to the show as I would 2018. And then in terms of show and set, I don't know, 2012? Like, I don't know what else has had, like, that great of a combo. Alright, we have quite a few questions with M-Pen. I'm gonna go through some of the ones that I find most interesting here. Thoughts of the Ninjago movie 5 years later. So I've seen a lot of people on Twitter and whatnot come around to really liking the Ninjago movie. I'm the opposite, though. I really liked it when it came out, but now that time's gone on, I like it less. I don't dislike it by any means. I still think it's a very fun kids movie. But I think it fails at being a LEGO movie, and it fails at being a Ninjago movie, which are the two things it claims to be. It doesn't hold up to the other LEGO movies, and it doesn't hold up to the Ninjago TV show. And that's a shame, because if they did like a goofier take on Ninjago, but it fit in the LEGO movie universe, I wouldn't mind. Or if it was more serious and grounded like the TV show, but didn't really fit the LEGO movie universe as much, I wouldn't mind that either. But it was this kind of weird middle ground, and it felt like the writers really didn't understand what people liked about Ninjago. So while I still think it's better than like 90% of kids' movies that come out today, it's not to the same level as the IP in its name. What Ninjago season has the most missed potential, and how would you have fixed it? Missed potential, so like an idea that was good, but they just didn't do it well. Obviously, Hands of Time is the one and only answer. Like, I don't like Rebooted. Rebooted is my least favorite season, but I don't think there's much potential to that idea. I don't like the idea of the Overlord coming back. I don't like the idea of, oh, futuristic robots, they're all robots, they're here. But Hands of Time has such cool potential. Like, if you just describe Hands of Time and don't, like, go into character personality, just describe the lore, that sounds like the coolest season. But the biggest thing was they just made Crux and Acronix so lame. Crux's entire character was, I hate iPads. iPads are the worst. And Acronix's entire character was like, look, iPads are cool. And it was just weird. These were these cool, like, warlord-type characters, and they just turned them both into comic relief, which wasn't great. Season 7 felt like it was trying to recapture the magic of Season 1, but without the Hagemans working that season, I felt like it really failed. And instead of just trying to do a new thing, it felt like a copy of a copy, and I just wasn't a fan. Also, the Vermilion are so cool in theory, why did they have to be so lame in the show? So yeah, of course, Season 7 has the most missed potential. What Ninjago characters do you hate/find annoying? That's an interesting one, let me think about this. See, I try not to be a hater with things, so like, most of the show I'm just enjoying, I'm enjoying the characters. I'm enjoying everything, and even if it's like a goofier character, I'm like, okay, this is the part of the universe, I'm gonna accept it. Oh, but no, I have an answer, the Overlord. The Overlord is my least favorite villain. I am so nervous about him being crystallized. I'm hoping maybe he is written better this time around. But he's like okay in Season 2, and then terrible in Season 3, in my opinion. Because I hate that his entire character is like, I'm evil, I'm gonna do evil because I'm evil. Like, I don't know, I prefer villains to be a little more complex than that. Or if you're not gonna be complex, at least be fun. Like, I like Chen. Chen doesn't have a super deep backstory, he's just sort of like chaotic. But he's fun, he's kind of just like Joker-brained. The Overlord to me just feels like a little kid's idea of what a bad guy is. So I'm really hoping he's done better in Crystallized, but he's one of the reasons I cannot stand to rewatch Rebooted or the second half of Season 2. I'm just like not a fan of it. He's like, go do evil, I'm the Lord of Darkness, I'm the Lord of Evil. It's like, okay, buddy, okay. Has the show ever changed your mind about how much you like the sets in that way? Let me think. I guess with Master of the Mountain, the show made the sets feel inherently a little bit weaker because, like, there wasn't villains in most of the sets, which we saw the show. Because the sets framed the Gekko and Munz as the villains, but obviously that was not the case in the show at all. But that didn't really take away from the sets themselves. I still really like that wave. Same thing with Prime Empire, but again, that's mostly just the minifigures. I wish there was more red visors and less rats. That's not a huge deal. I'm trying to think, like, has the show ever changed my mind positively about the sets? I guess the show made me want the land bounty a little bit more, but yeah, I can't really think of anything. Back in the day, I only really bought the sets that I cared about, so most of the time I liked them anyway. And if a set's bad, I don't think the show's ever redeemed the set for me. So yeah, no, I don't think so. What do you think is the biggest missed opportunity for a Ninjago set? A Legacy Cole's Tread Assault. Why does that not exist? It's so weird that it does not exist. There's a missing spot in my collection for it. They really need to make it. We cover more Monkey King on the channel, like reviews, theories, reactions. Yes, I plan to cover more Monkey King in the future. I still have not watched Season 3, but I probably will at some point. I have the Monkey King mech that Lance sent me. It's in my house. I plan to review it at some point, but I've not got around to building it yet. But yeah, I like Monkey Kid. It's just expensive and it's big, and the reviews take a while to film, and they don't perform as well as Ninjago content, and I also don't like it as much as Ninjago content. So I always sort of put it on the back burner as opposed to other stuff. Do you think the next Ninjago Core Wave will recycle the current suits or make new suits to keep it fresh? Well, ideally I'd like them to make new suits, but I have a feeling they're just going to recycle the same suits. However, I hope at the very least they change up the villain. I would love a new color for the snakes, even if it's just a new color for the snakes. Ideally, an all-new villain, like Skeletons or something, would be very cool, but at least recolor the snakes, so we're not just getting the same two over and over and over again. What Ninjago season of the year were you most hyped for the show/sets? Show would definitely be Sons of Garmadon. They were really teasing that for a while. And March of the Oni, I guess. That one was, like, teased really ahead of time. Sets, though, would definitely be 2016 is the most excited I've ever been for a wave. I remember Legoland, was putting up like displays for the Ninjago world, and it featured the Day of the Departed suits. I remember those leaked, and we saw the Day of the Departed suits for the first time, and we were all like, oh my goodness, they combined the 2011 and 2012 suits. That is the coolest thing I've ever seen. That was the most excited I've ever been for, like, a single wave. And then the first wave of legacy sets, when we had those set names leaked, but we didn't know what they looked like yet, that was super exciting. What is your favorite set this year? So far, it is the Horizon Forbidden West Tall Neck set. That set is fantastic. I will be making a video at the end of the year, as I always do, going over my top 10 sets of the year, or my top 5. It'll be 5 of mine and 5 of Matthew's. But that one took the lead immediately when I got it, and I think it's still in the lead to this day. If Legacy returns, how far do you think they'll go before going back to Season 1 and hopefully making Legacy villain vehicles, etc.? I have a feeling if Legacy returns, it's going to immediately go back to Season 1, unfortunately. I don't think if Legacy comes back, it's going to pick up at Season 5. I think at this point, it's been long enough. If Legacy comes back, it's going to be Jay Stormfighter, Zane Snowmobile, like, all over again. Hopefully we'll get some different things. Like, I would love a Tread Assault, I would love a Great Devourer, but I have a feeling it's just going to be remakes of sets when it happens. You ever experience burnout? Yep, that happens every now and then. I try to push through, though, because I know it's worth it. A few times, though, I've taken weeks off just because I needed it, and it's been good for my mental health. I'm actually going off to college. Actually, as you guys are watching this, I am at college, and I'm only like 30 minutes away from home, so I'm able to come home to film. But that's the hardest part, is balancing college life and, like, YouTube life. But yeah, when I'm feeling burnout, I just try to push myself through it, take a break if I need it, but most of the time I'm able to work through it, and it's very satisfying to, like, finish a product and be like, okay, I did this, I'm proud of this. That's another thing, is, like, when I'm feeling burnout, I try to do something more creative. I take a break from the reviews, and I make something like my, Crystal King Temple video. Because when there's a really positive response to that, it motivates me to keep going. When we review Ninjago Crystallized episodes 13 through 30 when they come out, of course, I'll make a whole video discussing them as soon as they drop, or if it's in 2 parts after each part. I think I did that for the first 12, right? Or at least I talked about it on the podcast, but obviously no podcast this time, so I'll be making a video like this one. It might be in one of these videos, but no, it'll probably be its own video. Do you ever have Dark Age or sets you regret not getting? Yes, 2013 was my Dark Age. I was completely out of LEGO, but the LEGO movie and Reboot were what got me back in. But I never got any of the Final Battle sets in 2013, so I've gotten a few of them on the aftermarket. But I wish I had got them the year they came out, because that would have been a lot easier. Okay, we'll probably do a few more questions at the end of this video, but now I want to talk about some sets that I got recently. So on August 1st, I had to spend a little extra money to reach the gift with purchase threshold, so I bought a few sets that I wasn't planning on getting that came out earlier in the year. First, I got this creature from Thor: Love and Thunder, and this guy is alright. I think if you liked that movie and you want the figures, this set is good to pick up. I'd probably recommend this over the Goat Boat. I don't have the Goat Boat, but this guy's 20 and that one's 50 and there's only one minifigure different. But this is just such a goofy design for a character. Like, come on, what's even going on here? Trying to get the camera to focus on it. I don't believe this guy was in the movie at all, and his face is ridiculous. But there's a lot of fun parts. It's fun to move his arms around. They're on mini ball joints. You can, like, open his claws up and fit minifigures inside. But the minifigures are for sure the highlight. Thor is great. The blue is a really interesting color on him, but I think it looks pretty good. And I also really like how they redesigned Stormbreaker. Jane's the main reason I got this set, and she's pretty good. I really like her, like, helmet hairpiece thing. However, her face print is just, like, another reused one, so that's a little bit lame. Not sure, like, how good the lighting is. Again, if this is really bad, we're gonna switch this up for the next video. But this video is very much beta test. You hear what I'm saying, though. That's what's important. You guys know what a face print looks like. And then Gore, I literally could not care less about, but he's alright, I guess. His sword's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it was a $20 set. It was decent. I recommend it if you watched the movie and you enjoyed it. But if you don't really care about the movie or the characters, you don't need it. It's a goofy monster, and I like just ridiculous LEGO builds like this, because what is this? What's his deal? But it's nothing all too special. Another thing I got on August 1st, I was planning on doing a full review of this guy, but I just decided not to, because I'm like, it probably won't do too well. But this is the Speed Champions Dodge Charger. We have Mr. When Did It Turn Into Beautiful World himself. If you know the context of what I'm saying there, I'm sorry. That is the entire reason I got this set, though, because I wanted the minifigure of him. He uses the new skin tone that was introduced in The Mandalorian, though, which is very cool. And then the card itself is actually really nice. It's, like, hardly even able to tell that it's LEGO, because it's just very flat all around. There's only a few studs. Maybe I should be filming this in my light box, because yeah, the glare up here is not great. Okay, moving to my light box, I'm now filming handheld on my phone camera. But yeah, there's a look at this guy. Genuinely just very impressed by how this turned out. Again, there's not many studs shown at all. Not many stickers either. Like, from a distance, if you told me this was just a model car, I'd probably believe you. Not sure how I feel about, like, the engine coming out of the top. but the rest of it I love. Taillights at the back look really good too, and the interior is surprisingly like complex and pretty as well. I'm really happy they're doing Speed Champion sets that are movie tie-ins now, and while I only did get this one for the minifigure, I'm curious to see like what they're gonna have in the future. This is another set I got on August 1st. It was a little chicken coop from LEGO City, and this one is absolutely adorable. It was $10, and I'm really happy I got it. This car is really interesting. I don't think this is a new thing for LEGO City, but it's got this thing where if you turn it from side to side, the wheels are actually turned. And look at that. So that's how you can make it move to one side and then make it move to the other side. That's a really cool functionality, and I like that it comes in a small set. The minifigure itself is just like this farmer girl. Basket of eggs out the back. And then the chicken coop is small but cute. 2 brown chickens on the inside, which were the main reason I got this set. I didn't have these guys in this color. But you can see you set them up there and there's a place to collect the eggs. But yeah, I really like this one. It was fun to get a $10 set again because I feel like we don't get $10 sets too often that aren't like gimmick sets or microfighters or whatever. So it was cool to just get a complete $10 set. And I had a lot of fun with this one. If you have the spare money, I highly recommend it. Next we have the LEGO Jurassic Park T-Rex Breakout set, but not the 18+ one, or the retired one, or the currently available, just like normal sized one. No, I'm talking about the 4+ one here. I had actually filmed a full review of this set, and then I went to edit it, and the audio was like kind of messy, so I'm like, I'm not uploading this. But I still want to talk about the set itself. This one was sent to me by the LEGO Ambassador Network. This was not one I purchased myself, unlike the other 3 sets that I just showed you. And I mean, this set is alright. I really like the dinosaur. The dinosaur is fantastic as I expected. That's the main reason I won this set, was for the spring green dinosaur. That's a really fun color. He looks a bit cooler than I expected. I won spring green dinosaur because I thought that would be really goofy. And while he is a little goofy, it actually works surprisingly well, so he is actually genuinely kind of cool. But the rest of the set is not much. There's a really cool printed piece that you get a few times in the set. And like the helicopter's alright, I guess. But at the end of the day, it's a 4+ set. Super overpriced, very simple builds. So unless you want to pay $50 just for the dinosaur, it's really probably not worth it. The minifigures, though, are surprisingly good. I believe all 3 are exclusive to this set for, like, no reason at all, but they all have really good parts. So I'd say this is a solid clearance core set. If you find it on clearance, I highly recommend it. But for full price, nah, don't buy it. I mean, if you have, like, a young kid in your family who's a dinosaur fan and you want to get him into LEGO, like, maybe it's alright for that. But if you're an older collector, there's so many better ways to spend $50. I don't think I'd recommend this one. And then one more set I want to talk about real quick is Elsa's Ice Palace. Now, I built this on livestream recently, and this is another one that was sent to me by the LEGO Ambassador Network, but this is one I absolutely adore. Now, I'm not one to buy Disney princess sets normally, but I do love things that are ice-themed. So I asked Land to send this over to me, and they kindly did. And building it all up, yeah, I absolutely adore it. This is probably one of my favorite LEGO sets of all time. Because even if you don't care about Frozen, if you like ice-themed things, this is perfect. You could put Zane in here, you could put Mr. Freeze in here. It all works. The interior is really nice too. All these trans blue parts, white parts, reflective parts. It all comes together so nicely. I genuinely think it'd be a really fun playset as well. So even ignoring the whole like Frozen theming and everything, I just love this set for what it is. Honestly, one of my favorite sets of all time. Not going to be for everybody, but if this is something that interests you, I cannot recommend it enough. This will be one I never take apart. I'm so happy to have the opportunity to have this. Thank you so much, LEGO, for sending this one to me. Nothing but positive things to say. That's gonna be it, though, for the mini reviews in this video. I do have a big old backlog of sets, though, so now that I'm doing these mini reviews for those sets, I might try to start building them a little bit quicker, so stay tuned for more of that in the next video. We'll end this video off with a little bit more Q&A. What is your favorite retired LEGO theme? Now, this definitely has to be either Power Miners or Space Police. I absolutely loved both of these as a kid. Probably Power Miners. Power Miners is a theme I really loved. I'd go on LEGO.com and play like all the Power Miners games. If you're young, you have no idea what I'm talking about, but if you're my age, you might. There were little games like, oh, what rock monster are you and stuff. And I remember spending like hours upon hours on LEGO's website playing the Power Miners games. I love those sets, I had a ton of them, and I would love to like complete those waves one day, because there was still lots I didn't have. In your opinion, which would look better on Anniversary Zane? His golden polybag coat or his golden crystallized hood? I assume by polybag coat you mean the blister pack from the LEGO store. I would say the LEGO store hood, because I don't know, the Resistance R doesn't really make as much sense on the Anniversary figures unless they all have it. And then it still doesn't make that much sense, but at least it's consistently not making sense. But yeah, I think unprinted probably looks better. What is one set you really want but don't currently own? So many. A lot of like 2011, 2012 Ninjago stuff I would love to own one day. Because those were the last few waves where I was truly a kid. By the time I came back to Ninjago in 2014, I was a little bit older, so I was making my own money one way or another. And while it still wasn't a ton, it was an allowance. I was able to save my own money up. But 2011, 2012, that was mostly like getting sets as gifts and whatnot, because I was super young. So there's a lot of sets that I missed out on that I definitely wanted to get. Ultrasonic Raider's a huge one. Garmadon's Dark Fortress is one I want to get one day. And then non-Ninjago stuff, I always wanted an ATT from Star Wars. I always thought those were super cool. I think that's what they're called, ATTs. I'll put a picture on screen and see, was I right? Hey, me in editing, was I right about this being called an ATT? Thank you. Cool. Yeah. How often do you rewatch Ninjago? Personally, I do 16 times a week. I can't tell if that's a joke or not, because I'm not gonna lie, when I was a kid, it wasn't 16 times a week, but it was close. When I was little, well, actually, when season 1 was airing when I was a kid, I literally used to watch it the night it came out, because it would air at like 7 p.m. on Cartoon Network, and then the following morning before I went to school, I would watch it again to like memorize what happened so I could talk to all my friends about it. But I used to rewatch it like once a year or so. But I've really fallen out of that because obviously there's more episodes now and I have less time now because I have work and school, like college school, where I actually have to pay attention. And then I have work as in YouTube work and work as in other work. So I have less time to just sit and binge TV. So the last time I rewatched it was when me and my girlfriend started dating. Like when I went through and rewatched all of it. It was when me and my girlfriend started dating, which was 3.5 years ago. And then I started again with Matthew for Ninjago Revisited, and then obviously that disappeared. But I want to at least rewatch the Wild Brain seasons before Chrysalis finishes airing, because I've only seen all those about once. What do you like more, Brickboat, Dragon Heads, or molds? See, this is a question, I'm sure I've talked about this a little bit before, but this is a question where my answer has changed over time, because if you asked me in 2011, well, obviously, molded was all that existed, so it would have been molded. But then in 2015, when the Brickboat heads like started to really be a thing, I was like, oh, Brickboat is way better. Molded was like too big and oversized. Brickboat allows it to like actually have personality. And then in 2018, they started to do Brickbuilt, but with like printed eyes. I was never a huge fan of that style. But then in 2021, with the Jungle Dragon, the Water Dragon, the Overlord Dragon, I think that is the peak of Ninjago Dragon heads. I think those are done so perfectly. And yes, they're molded, but I think they're molded in the best way possible. So my answer nowadays would be yes, molded is better by far. The modern molding style, though, not the 2011 molding style. Pokemon, what do you think of it? I am actually a very big Pokemon fan. In fact, it might shock some of you guys to hear this, but I think I might actually like Pokemon more than I like LEGO. LEGO is just what I make videos about, though. But yeah, I'm a super big Pokemon fan. I've gone to official tournaments. I actually have a Pokemon YouTube channel that I never upload on. I haven't uploaded on in 2 years. But I would like to get back into it one day, sometime. So I guess let me know in the comments if you guys would be interested in seeing a Pokemind revival at any point. But I think that can about conclude the first episode of whatever this is. Again, if you guys have suggestions for a title for this series, let me know in the comments. Any suggestions on how to improve the series. What would you like to see in the series? But I hope to be doing this at least once a month. And the same style of Q&A. Go over sets that I've gotten recently that I'm not doing full reviews on. And then if there's any LEGO news I want to talk about, I'll talk about in that video. But I didn't feel like there was anything I really missed this time. But yeah, if you have any feedback, let me know in the comments. But regardless, thank you for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed, please just like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I do LEGO videos just like this one almost every day, so if you subscribe, you'll be the first to see them. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!